Good morning, y'all. Today I'm so excited because we are going to make this delicious strawberry cobbler. And it's a recipe that one of my sweet friends, Rebecca Russum, formulated. And I'm just telling you, you are just going to love it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this in a cast iron skillet. So I'm going to just, instead of rubbing the butter, I just melted it, because you don't want your cobbler to stick. So here it is right here, ready for the rest of the ingredients. And then what you do is, this is a little bit different way to make a cobbler. This recipe makes the cobbler so just delicious and full flavor. So we're gonna overheat. We're gonna put in 3/4 of a cup of water, a half a cup of sugar. Don't forget my back, I'm sorry. A half a cup of sugar, and then 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. You need to watch this and kind of stick with it while it's cooking, because it comes up real fast, and all you want it to do is cornstarch to kind of melt, and then to thicken just a little bit, and then it'll be ready to go. All right, here we go. So I'm going to stir this mixture. It doesn't take very long. You can see that I have heated my oven to 400 degrees. Kind of getting it everywhere, aren't I? But anyway, it's wonderful to make this cornstarch mixture, because then you don't have to worry about the filling being too loose. It's nice and thick. You can serve it with ice cream. And oh my goodness, y'all, it is delicious. So here's our cornstarch mixture. Kind of looks like milk. Can you see that? And then I'm stirring it while it cooks, because I want the cornstarch to make sure that it is completely incorporated in the liquid. So the recipe ingredients for this are really simple, which is nice. And then Miss Frances and I actually went to the Amish country, and we got some strawberries. And I'm telling you, of course, I always think that the Louisiana strawberries are the very best in the world, down by Thibodeau and those cities and that parish. But the Amish here near Nashville is in a community just about an hour south. And they have, of course, the most wonderful veggies and just anything. They make all kind of wood furniture. And so anyway, Miss Frances and I had just a delightful time. First time we've been back in a long time. So we got to see our friends that we've known over the years, and we just had the best time. So this is really heating up nicely. I'm going to stir it and stir it and stir it and let it come to a boil. Do it just a little quicker. And then we're going to add our strawberries. Now I have 2 cups of strawberries. Let me make sure that's how many strawberries that I put in this thing, because actually it's 3 cups. I thought this looked a little bit more than 2 cups. So it's 3 cups of strawberries, and they're rinsed and hulled. And I'll tell you a little tip that someone told me is to put them in a glass container to store them, and then they'll stay fresher. You know, usually if you get fresh strawberries, so here it is boiling, so I'm going to stir, because once it starts to boil, it gets thick really, really quickly. What I was saying about the strawberries is to put them in a glass container, and they stay longer in the fridge. Okay, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. So if you want to keep the seeds out of your, whatever you're putting your lemon juice in, just put your hand there and it'll catch the seeds. Okay, stir. Because it's gotten thick. It's kind of like a really, really, really clear roux, if you will. So then you add these beautiful strawberries. Now these strawberries, you can see, were small. I always think that the smaller strawberries are sweeter. So we add our strawberries to our liquid. Stir them around. Now, these are nice and coated, and the color is still maintains just so beautifully. Oh my goodness, y'all. Okay, so we're gonna make our dough in just a minute, but we're gonna put our strawberries in our skillet. And I am putting our skillet on a baking sheet just so it'll be easier to get out of the oven. So we'll just put them right here to hang out while we make our dough. And this dough is kind of like maybe a really yummy biscuit dough. Some people love to make it by hand, and they like to kind of feel how the butter is incorporated. But you can also make it in your food processor, which makes it a little easier. So I never have used my food processor, too much until lately, and now I kind of love it. So anyway, we're going to spread the berries out. This is going to make a nice big cobbler. Now, you also need to know that you can if you make something in a cast iron skillet, you can also bring it somewhere in a cast iron skillet, and it keeps warm. It also will keep cold. If you have some, I don't know, maybe an ice cream cake or pie or something like that, you can make it in your cast iron and bring it to your function. There's so many things going on nowadays, graduation parties and church potluck picnics and all. So I'm going to just dot that with a little bit of butter. Now we're going to make our dough. So in the food processor, we're going to put 1 cup of flour, this is all-purpose flour, and this is how you measure your flour. You dip it and then scoot it off and make sure you just have one level scoop, because if you don't measure it like that, the ingredients will be off. And cooking is really a science, which maybe that's why actually baking is a science. So I'm more of a cook, but if you just follow the directions, it really is a lot simpler than you think it is. I was talking to someone that we were talking about my food blog and all, and they said, "Oh, we just hate baking." I said, "Well, I never consider myself a baker, except that it's easier than people think." Okay, so we're going to put in a teaspoon and a half of baking powder. The same thing. You see how usually these baking powder packages come with this little divider right there, and that's to help you get it out evenly. So that's a teaspoon. We're going to add a half a teaspoon. Then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of salt. Always look again, just in case. All right, half a teaspoon of salt. There we go. Now, 1 tablespoon of sugar goes in this. You want it a little sweet, not too sweet, so I'm just going to dip a little sugar and put it in. And then here we go to make our dough. So the first thing you want to do is to get the dry ingredients, all the ingredients that are really super dry, you want to get them incorporated really well. So if you were making this by hand, I would just either sift it together or put it in a bowl and stir it. So you just pulse it a few times and you can see that it's all coming together. Okay. Now we have 3 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to just add it in pieces because you don't want it to, you want to incorporate it well, and also you want the butter cold so that it will mix well, but also kind of stay incorporated, and then, kind of stay like little dots maybe in your flour, and that way it makes, this is so old, I'm not exactly sure what it's doing here, but anyway, it falls out a little bit. So you incorporate your butter really well till it kind of just looks like little peas in there. Then you add some heavy cream. This might be what makes this so delicious. About a cup to 3/4 cup heavy cream. I'm going to add it slowly. And as you can see, your dough is coming together really nicely. Oh my gosh, y'all. That is the prettiest dough. Nice and soft and tender. Okay, so we have our strawberries ready to go. We have our dough ready to go. And really, you don't need to roll this out. All you really need to do is, it's nice and soft. And so let me move this over a little bit. I'm gonna unplug it and move it over a little bit so you can see what I'm doing with the dough. Okay, so here are our beautiful strawberries with the butter on them, and here is the dough. So I'm actually just going to take it and kind of put it around, maybe like little cookies or something, or little biscuits. This is so tender, like I said, so it is going to be super yummy. I think that's one reason I like this recipe so much, is that whenever it bakes, you'll see that the dough just melts into these strawberries. And the liquid that they'll make a little liquid because they're so nice and juicy and fresh, right off the farm, fresh. And so it makes it almost even more tender, if that makes sense. Just a little bit more tender. So let me get all that dough. Okay, so we have our dough nice and pretty even, scattered out. And then we're going to just take a few little pieces of butter and place them around so they'll make it nice and yummy. You don't have to put it all over every one because we've already put, remember, butter on the strawberries. But anyway, here we go. So I'm going to put it in the oven at 400 degrees for 25 minutes and check it and see how yummy it is. Now I'm going to use this to put it in with because, you know, the cast iron, whenever we take it out, it's going to be nice and warm. So I'm going to put it in the oven, 400 degrees, 25 minutes, and I'll see y'all in a minute. Okay, y'all, look at this cobbler. I am so excited to share this recipe with you because it is just beautiful and so yummy. So I'm going to show you how we're going to plate it up. You can put whipped cream on cobbler. You can use, ice cream or just whatever you want. You can actually have both if you're having company because some people will want the ice cream and some people will want the whipped cream. But I am telling you what, y'all, my kitchen smells so good. I want to thank my sweet little Becca for this recipe. We've been actually doing it for a pretty long time. She's got the sweetest little family and she's such a wonderful mother. So I had a little ice cream party and I had these Bluebell cups left over. So I thought, well, this is a perfect amount for our cobbler. So I'll just use that. So here we go. Strawberry cobbler. Bon appetit, y'all.